Greetings, film fanatics. Filmholmes here, and welcome to another rendition of Too Many Movies. So last Tuesday in the mail, I received a Blu-ray that I had been waiting for a very long time. Batman: The Killing Joke, DC's newest addition to its animated film universe, and probably the most highly anticipated ever. I know you were expecting the Blu-ray, I'll show it in a second. This is The Killing Joke comic by Alan Moore and Brian Boland. This has probably become the most famous Batman comic ever. A lot of people feel like this is when the Joker really truly became the Joker everybody loves. It was groundbreaking, it was amazing, and it's still amazing. It was the first time it gave kind of a Joker origin story. Joker really showed who the Joker really is, and it showed how dark a Batman story could get, and it completely changed, it transformed the Batman universe forever. That's what The Killing Joke is. So ever since this came out in the late 80s, people have been waiting for some kind of cinematic version, either a live action or an animated movie, and we finally got it. We finally got it from DC. And when they said that Mark Hamill would be the Joker, Kevin Conroy would be Batman, and Tara Strong would be Batgirl, three of the main stars from Batman the Animated Series, not to be too graphic, but the moment they said that, I dropped my pants and just started jerking off because I was so fucking excited! Because I love Batman the Animated Series. To have the voice actors there, Mark Hamill one more time as the Joker, holy shit, take my money now. Please, take it all, whatever you have to take it from me to watch this damn movie. And they had a short theatrical release of the movie for a couple days. I unfortunately did not get to go see it in the theater. I had to wait, like many other people, for either the digital copy or the Blu-ray. I waited for my Blu-ray because I already had it pre-ordered. So I woke up that morning, went to my door, opened it, and there was Batman: The Killing Joke. And right before, of course, I had read that it was getting really, really bad reviews. Not just from critics, but also from audiences. And that disappointed me, because they had built this up so much, too much, that I expected a masterpiece. Something that would live in the Batman cinematic universe forever. And that's not really what they gave us. Yeah, let's get to it. So there it is, Batman: The Killing Joke. What a cool front cover, isn't it? I love that so much. Sorry, the light's flashing on it. Okay, let's go ahead and I'll get the story out of the way. Basically what happens in the first half hour, there's a new story for the movie because they had to add about a half hour of story because the comic is very short. It barely would have done an hour. And these movies usually run about an hour and 15 minutes, hour 20 minutes. So I was delighted when I heard they were going to do a little bit of Batgirl storyline. I was like, fantastic. I love Batgirl. I love to see how they tie that story into the Killing Joke story. Well, there's the problem. The opening story, where Batgirl basically becomes the obsession of this villain, Paris Franz, and I'm sorry, I really like that, and I like the villain, she becomes his obsession. And Batman's trying to keep her away from him, which makes no goddamn sense, because she's tackled people like the Joker, or Killer Croc, or Scarecrow. She has tussled with far superior villains than Paris Franz. But all of a sudden, Batman wants her to be safe, and it doesn't make a lick of sense. The writing in that first half hour is some of the worst I've ever experienced in any superhero movie. It's like they wrote it in 5 minutes and didn't even try to edit it. The overall story between Paris, Franz, and Batgirl, I actually enjoyed. It would have made a good movie on its own. I think it would have. The climax to it is stupid. I guess I should say spoilers, but it's been out for a week and everyone's talking about it online, so whatever. But basically, Batgirl goes batshit on Paris Franz and kind of just keeps punching him, beating him up, but it's really not that excessive, and she gives up being Batgirl. It's fucking dumb. But before this, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the batsex. That's what everybody is pissed off about, and I'm sure all two of you are dying to hear if I'm pissed off about it or not. And no, I'm not. Was it necessary? No. They were just trying to be controversial to fit in with The Killing Joke, because The Killing Joke is still a very controversial comic and now a controversial movie. So they thought, what the hell, we'll go somewhere that they haven't really gone before. And see, the thing is, they have. In Batman Beyond, one of the last episodes, it is hinted at, or basically confirmed, in that universe of the Batman animated series, that Barbara Gordon stayed behind with Batman while Dick Grayson's Nightwing went away, and she stayed behind to not be Batman's girlfriend or partner, but his wife. It's not confirmed, but they hint at it. I didn't see anyone, throwing feces at their TV screens out of disapproval when that happened. So why is this such a big deal? Well, look, I agree, Batgirl and Batman should never hook up. That's not their relationship. I don't agree with it either. But this isn't like this is going to be the last adaptation of Batman ever. This is just one of 1,000. So I think people are freaking out way too much about it. It wasn't handled well. That's my problem with it. It wasn't written well. Batgirl, I don't like the way she was written. She was written like some teenage lovesick girl who... This is a speech she gives after her and Batman have sex and they don't talk for a little while. Like, what is this, fucking high school? Seriously? And she calls him, she barely talks to her, and she suddenly screams, "It was just sex! It doesn't have to mean anything! We can go back to the way things were!" Are you in middle school? What the fuck? That's what pissed me off. Not that they had sex. I didn't care about that. It made them seem closer, or that it would have led to something in the Killing Joke part, which it didn't. But hold on to that, or hold on for that. They wrote Batgirl horribly, in my opinion. They wrote her badly. And the first half, even though the story with Paris Franz I think is very good, the rest of it sucks. It is so badly written. But tired of holding this. What pisses me off even more is that opening part doesn't connect to the Killing Joke. It's like two completely different movies. You're telling me that you couldn't have made it connect? They don't even mention the Joker in the first half hour. That's screenwriting 101, guys. Who fucking wrote this? You're idiots. When I'm watching something like this and I go, wow, I could have written that better, that's a bad sign. Because I probably couldn't have written it better, but I feel like I could, which means you failed at your job. You couldn't have taken any more time with the script. This has been in development for years. The script is the most important part. So that's what I'm mainly pissed off about, is that the first half was fine for what it was, but it doesn't fucking connect to the Killing Joke part. And I get that you don't want to change anything. Don't! They barely change anything when it switches over to the Killing Joke story, but you have to connect the two parts. Why would you think you can get away with that? Yeah, but the Killing Joke part was done very well. Once that picks up, it's a lot of fun. It's the same dialogue, it looks exactly like the comic. There's not much I can say about it, because it was very well done. The only thing I didn't like is that they cut out certain parts of dialogue that added to the story in the comic. Why the fuck would you cut out anything? You're already bitching that you don't have enough time with the comic itself. Why would you cut out any of the dialogue? There's a scene when Batman goes to see Batgirl in the hospital, and Harvey Bullock is there, and in the comic he said he undressed her, and Batman's like, undressed? He goes, yeah, he took pictures of her. Sick, isn't it? That's the short version. In the movie, he goes, he undressed her. He undressed her? Yeah, sick, isn't it? And then he fucking leaves. Okay, we saw Joker with the camera earlier, but you still have to set up that he took the fucking pictures. So, because a lot of the people who are going to watch this movie have probably never read the comic. You have to set that up. Again, screenwriting 101. How do you fuck up the part of your script that's already been written for you? There's a reason why it was in the comic and it would have fit in the movie, okay? But the Killing Joke part is great. Once you get to that, it's almost smooth sailing from there. Now I'm going to say something that's going to piss a lot of people off. Many people, if they're praising anything about it, they're praising the voice acting. I will say this, the voice acting, as always, was very good. But for the first time ever with these three actors, and only the three main actors, Tara Strong, Kevin Conroy, and Mark Hamill, for the first time ever, I felt like they were just sitting there reading from scripts. Now, I'm not saying that they phoned it in. They didn't. But it fell flat for me. Personally, I don't think Tara Strong did that good of a job. Oh, you don't attack Tara Strong! I know. I love Tara Strong. She's a phenomenal voice actress. I love her as Batgirl. But I just didn't like what she did in this. I didn't like her readings. And maybe she knew the script wasn't that good. I don't know. But I didn't like her as Batgirl in this. It fell flat. Kevin Conroy does fine, but he's just too, I'm Batman in this. There's just no emotion in his voice, even with the Batgirl stuff. It made no sense. Now, Mark Hamill as Joker, he does great as always, but he doesn't knock it out of the park. And what I mean by that is, like, a perfect example is when the infamous Memories scene between him and Commissioner Gordon, that infamous speech in the comic, probably the most famous scene in the comic, that Memories part. The way Mark Hamill delivered it, it was really good, but it didn't, I was disappointed in it. Again, it fell flat. And a lot of the voice acting in this just really feels flat to me. It didn't blow me away. And maybe I'm just spoiled, I don't know, but I expected a lot more. It just felt like there was a time crunch and they just were only able to go in and read the lines a couple times. And I love Mark Hamill as a Joker. He's my favorite Joker ever, and he always will be. But it just didn't impress me like I thought it would. And he still does his job well. That's just my opinion. It maybe on future viewings, it will. And the reason why I waited a week to do this video, because I was pretty disappointed in it. I wasn't angry like everybody else, but I was disappointed. And I wanted to take a week. I was going to watch it again, and I did, but I didn't watch in order. I watched different parts. Maybe when I actually watch the movie again and again, I'll like it more. But the voice acting fell flat. The script for it was awful, especially in that first half hour, was just awful. But they still kind of fucked up the Killing Joke when you take out certain things. But it was still fun to see this comic come to life because they did a great job. It looks exactly like the comic. But one other thing I need to bitch about is the editing. The editing is awful. And the only editing in it that is purely awful is in the comic, we see Joker in the present, and then we see his past story for the first time ever. Of course, they do that in the movie. And they do it well. But the transitions, it's just a crossfade. It's just the scene going into the next one. There's nothing clever about the editing. I kept waiting for them to do something clever with it, and there's fucking nothing. It was lazy. Lazy. It would be like how I would edit something because I'm not that good of an editor. I've never been trained. It's like if I edited this movie, I was just splicing it together. It needed more than that. It needed more love. And I didn't get the love. I just didn't. So overall, Batman the Killing Joke, I was very disappointed in, but at the same time, I enjoyed it. And the stuff that works, it does work really well. But like I said, there's just too much I can't forgive. It did not live up to the hype, which isn't easy, but frankly, it's like the first DC movie, animated movie I can remember, pissing me off in a lot of ways, and leaving me with feeling like I'd wasted my time. It just, they fucked up. That's mainly what it is. I'm not angry about it like everybody else seems to be. I'm just disappointed. So Batman the Killing Joke, after taking a week to reflect, I was going to give it 3.5 out of 5, but after everything I just talked about, 3 out of 5. It's kind of average, you know, and maybe that'll change in the future. Maybe eventually I might even give it a 4. There's a lot I like about it. There's a lot about the opening half hour that I do really enjoy. And the Killing Joke stuff, for the most part, is handled very well and with respect. But the voice acting just kind of falls flat for me, and I don't like watching an animated anything when it feels like the actors are just reading from a script. And for some reason, that's how it felt to me. And some of the editing is just lazy as hell, and that script is awful. Which is amazing how the script can be bad when you're adapting from something already written. But that's how I feel about the Killing Joke. Like, I hate to say it, but I almost regret buying it. Can't do much about that now. I'm glad I own it. But, you know, I'll give it a try here in a couple weeks again, and maybe I'll change my mind a little bit. But for right now, it's just a 3 out of 5. Sad, but it happens. So, this was another edition of Too Many Movies with me, Filmholmes, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.